everyone, it's Farket here, and in this video I'm going to do an analysis of the Forest 3 trailer that N-Night released. Taken him a year to get around to this, I think, but it's better late than never. Now, just a quick update on my game progress. It's come along nicely. Spent the last month doing a lot of character outfits and such, and Brandy made me this thing to help me go through the assets and that. Might get help from the community with this, deciding what to go with and such. I apologize that it's been like 6 months since I made a video. I'm just really not good at doing multiple things at once because I've been doing the game, and also I've had my daughter for over a month because she's sort of refusing to go back to her mother's. I don't want to go into any more detail about that. It's nothing bad. It's added a lot more pressure. So let's get started. Now, as you can tell, it's set in the future. And this guy's got an extension arm that can help him grab things. So they're doing good at showing what is actually going on. And you can also see he's a lazy bastard because those box of crunchy lunchies are very close and he still has to use the arm to grab them. So he's a lazy prick. And it is a he because there's a picture on the wall that says, "Daddy has gone to space." Me and Brady did an analysis together while we were up at the same time. He's in a different time zone, so it's difficult. I actually wanted him to join me in doing this because he's a programmer of Unreal and he knows a lot about this stuff. But unfortunately, it's just too difficult to line up the times. Now, things turn to crap, something goes wrong, and a lot of code comes up. Now, this is Unreal 5 code of compiling errors, most likely. I haven't seen these ones specifically. They could be Blueprint. They could be C++ coding errors. So N-Night has officially switched from Unity to Unreal. No! I'm going to suspect the reason why they may have done this and why many other companies have done this is that Unreal does have a wide variety of tools that to allow making more cinematic type games. That's why Unreal games often run like crap. So hopefully they can put the brakes on with that. I've got a theory as to what that might be, which is I think the main issue of Unreal 5 at the moment is virtual shadow maps, which has to do with Nanite, but that's just my take. But looking through the code that's there's nothing really standing out. It's too blurry to read as well. Brandy wanted to have a look at it and see if he could spot anything, but it's just too fast and too blurry. And yeah, there's a lot of VFX in here. You can see like the thing to Earth is there and a lot of dials and the oldies Hey You. So this is definitely in the future. AU is an astronomical unit. It's about 150 million kilometers and about 93 to 94 million miles, I believe. So that figure skyrockets. On the screen, you can see what appears to be Sons of the Forest, I think it is. He's standing on the emergency raft, I think. I know the forest very well. It doesn't look like the forest. Now, Brandy was of the opinion that this was a female character. We've got the thing on the wall saying, "Daddy's gone to space." The reason he says that is that his main speciality is actually skeletal meshes and models and stuff like that. So he said the shape of the character, like the arms and hands, are very feminine. I don't know what skeleton or thing they'll be using, whether they're using metahumans or the Unreal 5 skeleton, or the Unreal 4 skeleton, or maybe they've just gone with Unity stuff. I don't know. Like Mixamo. As you can tell, I know a little bit about game development now. I'm not just talking crap. I think them going into a space theme is very good. And the reason being is that I think they're just sick of working in the same world that they had before. This is going to be probably a lot more free for them to explore. I've met many of the people that work at N-Night, and the head guy there, he's very professional and he is definitely not obsessed with money. That's why we didn't see a PlayStation release, I'm guessing. So I think he just wants to work on things that he wants to work on. I don't know if it's obvious, but the spaceship appears to be going through hyperdrive. There was a spaceship inside Sons of the Forest. I don't know if this is the same spaceship. It could be. I'm not really prepared to open up Sons of the Forest to go look. I haven't played games in a long time, so I would have to remember the console commands and that. But it could be, but maybe it could be a future, like going back in time plot or something like that. I don't know. The next thing shows the player getting out of a seatbelt after the crash. There's no other passengers from what we can tell. Unfortunately, N-Night still loves doing scenes in the dark, which doesn't translate to video very well, so it's really hard to make out what's actually going on. It's very pixelated. I've been critical of this in the past, but it's N-Night's choice. If you're going to have a horror game, you've got to have some dark element or just mystery elements. I'll cover this a little bit later. But there's these little robots that go flying out the door. There's 2 of them. I wonder how they fit into things. Whether they're scanners or builders or something, I'm not sure. And the other thing is that the character's got an extendable arm that sits above. It's like a third arm. Curious how that's going to work. And it appears to be an alien world, which doesn't seem to be too hostile to life because things are growing here. There's obviously things on fire from when he crashed the ship. Now, I thought that they were using nanite on just about everything, but Brandy was able to point out this knob on the door, like the lock system, and you can actually see that it's triangulated. So that would indicate that they are using LODs as well. This is actually a big relief for me because I am not a fan of nanite. It's not nanite that's the issue. It's the virtual shadow maps that must be used on nanite. I don't know enough to explain it, but I think that's what's causing the issues with Unreal games because there's been games like Arc Raiders, I think it's called, They released the game and it's using Unreal 5 and it runs perfectly fine. And I watched some interviews because I wanted to figure out what they were doing. And they basically said that they were using older techniques that were being proved, tried and working, which is LODs. And you can tell there's not a lot of nanite in that, I think. I could be wrong. Best way to tell is that objects in the distance go very pixely when it's nanite. Doesn't look very good. Well, those two little robots, they're like little submarines as well, so they can go in water. They seem to follow the character around a lot of places. I don't know what role they would fit. I've got no idea. Hopefully the AI isn't as bad as Calvin, but we'll see. In this next scene, it shows water with rain droplets and fish and plants in it. Just to clarify, I've searched high and low for assets and such as you do as an indie developer, because there's two reasons. I can't afford to pay someone to create the assets. And two, I needed to figure out how they did it, how things are done. So looking through other assets, I was figuring out how to able to do it myself. And looking at all this foliage and stuff, all this art is all their own, I believe. I've not seen anything here. Their 3D artists have done a fair bit of work by the looks of it. There's fish in here jumping out. That could be just Niagara effects. The water dropping is nothing too great. That's easily done with something called Ultra Dynamic Sky, which is a tool that most developers probably use. Knowing N-Night, they're probably going to create their own weather system, but Ultra Dynamic Sky is like top tier. Like it can do everything pretty much. It's very well made. In the next scene, you see a worm or something jump out of the plant at the player and the arm grabs it. I don't know what the hell this means, what it could possibly mean. I just hope it's not an annoying thing that you have to press a button to catch it and they jump on you. I found that Sons of the Forest had so much annoying elements and I hope they don't do that again. Just tedious things. In this scene, you can actually see a lot of issues here. And Brandy pointed most of these out because he can see things. It's like, think of your profession. You can see things other people can't. It's like him and I could see things too, but he was able to see like the ground is far too reflective. He said it's got something to do with probably subsurface scattering or probably specular. It is, because if you look at the tree on the right, it doesn't have any reflection on it at all, but everything else does. Also, you can tell that pretty much every tree in the background is actually just a duplicate of each other. There might be one or two trees there, but they've just duplicated. It's a demo, so yeah, it's just things you notice when you're behind the scenes and doing this stuff. You pick up on things. Also, I just want to clarify, a lot of this is going to be changed in the final development. They did it last time, they're going to do it again. The ground's highly detailed, which suggests to me that they are using nanite on the ground. You can't do this with LODs without it running like crap, but I trust nanite, they'll make an optimized game that will actually run well and look good at the same time. I feel like Sons of the Forest looked good and ran well at the same time, especially for a Unity game. In this next scene, it shows a glowing cube around one of the little robots. I'm going to cover that shortly in another section. And there's also a skeleton hanging off the root system above and the lightning strike and what appears to be like those bats from Morrowind that make that awful noise. Brandy pointed out something interesting here in that the sun is quite low, yet there's quite a lot of light, which he thinks that there's going to be two suns. I'm not sure. There's going to be still a nighttime, as we can tell. But they're using fog a lot, which is very good for just covering up what's in the background. And so you only show what you want to show, especially it's very good for a demo. It's also could be done to increase performance, as you won't see any long wide shots of the environments here, which if they did, it would probably run really, really bad. You can only potentially do that stuff in like end development with optimization. So you use fog and nighttime stuff to cover things up, which is smart. In this scene, it shows like a little pig on the ground and some cubes. It doesn't show much, and a lake, very dark, and there's birds up there you can see. Now in this part, I want to cover the cube thing. It's definitely part of the UI, the user interface, which is obviously not displayed here. I don't know if it's going to be a scanning tool. It's giving me vibes of Subnautica. Perhaps they're going to go down that route of the exploration that Subnautica originally had, which was quite captivating to a lot of people, because Subnautica 2 is probably not going to happen. And even if it did, I really don't think it's going to be good anyway. We're seeing what happened with Below Zero. I think they could only capture magic in a jar once. And also, I don't think they understood what made the original Subnautica game good, because I watched a lot of videos in game development. Like I was watching videos on how they pull off what they did, and they don't even know. They started going on about things like, oh, we didn't add guns to the game. It's like, yeah, dude, that's not going to make a great game. It's just a political statement. Yeah, they got no idea. And you can see that with Below Zero, but this is off topic. This scene shows a mutated woman, so they're bringing back the creatures again, hopefully with variety and difference, and they serve a purpose and they're not just the same enemy. That's just different looks. That annoyed me about Sons of the Forest, but wait and see. Unless she can be rescued, but she doesn't look very friendly. But the cube things is scanning and constantly popping up around things. That's just using Niagara. It's probably very well optimized. Emissive doesn't take up a lot of resources, so it will probably run really well. Don't see bright lights and things and thinking they're going to cause the game to run bad. It's just not a thing. Shadows and fog, on the other hand, very intense. And next thing, it shows a very large cube, so I'm guessing there's behemoth monsters. I feel like they did this last time with the giant that grabbed the guy and took him and killed him, and they didn't do it again. So I don't know if there's anything in Unreal that's going to allow them to pull this off better than what they could in Unity, because I learned both engines. It's been a long time since I used Unity, but I jump in there occasionally to grab assets and stuff that I bought when I was playing with it. But there's nothing that I can think of as to, the thing is with large creatures like that is that they're going to clip a lot. And if you've played Ark, you see it all the time, like a T-Rex will clip through everything. And it's a preference thing. It's hard to get rid of that. But also this tree on the side has got an eye on it. So it suggests to me that a lot of things are mutated this time, even the foliage and that. We'll just have to wait and see. There's a lot of lightning strikes now. I think it might be just for the ambient effect to light up the area to give that mystery, like horror effect. Also, the player's got a gun. I never liked guns in Sons of the Forest, and I thought the forest was really well done, but I guess it makes sense for a gun to be in a space sci-fi game. And then the player actually shoots at the creature. Almost looks like lightning strikes it as well. Seems like some sort of laser pistol or plasma pistol. Obviously, these creatures are hostile. Hopefully, they put a behemoth-style enemy in the game and just not make it completely overpowered like they did with the worm. I suppose that is a behemoth creature they put in the game, but they didn't do it for the second game. I don't know. Looks like a tripod of some kind, but it's got 4 legs, I think. It's not a tripod, it's quad pod. It doesn't sound right. Also in the scene here, there's some pig creatures. I don't know if they're trying to attack the player or if they're just trying to run away. I've got no idea. In the next scene, it shows the player caught in some tentacles thing, some hydra or squid or something like that. Something foreign, not of this world. He's charging up the pistol to shoot at it. I don't know what else to say. It does give me hope that, they've showed a few enemies that have, they've got variety, so hopefully they're different. Sons of the Forest had a lot of enemies, but they were just too similar to each other. And then it ends and it says Forest 3. That's probably a working title. I hope they kind of stick with it. I don't mind it. It's good. What are they going to do? Ancestors of the Forest or some silly name? I don't know. The title's in blue. Sons of the Forest was in red and the Forest was in yellow. They're going through all the colors. Overall, it's a pretty good trailer, and it does a job. It reveals what they're working on at the premise, that it's following similar things of what the originals were, and that they're advertising that they're still working on something, because they kind of just stopped working on Sons of the Forest and didn't say anything. There's probably things going behind closed doors, like there's been a lot of issues with Unity, and it could be something to do with that. Like Unity recently just made another tier of payment, that enterprise payment or some crap that, more money. And Unreal takes a lot less than Unity. Like, I've actually come to like Tim Sweeney quite a bit. No! Because he's actually quite a decent guy. He only charges like 12 or something % for every sale on the Epic store, whereas Steam charges 30%. So he's got the right idea. And the thing is, he's wooing in a lot of developers, because Unity's just taking too much. But from what I've seen, Unity and Unreal, both great engines. If you're looking at it and you're going to pick one off the top of my head right now, just pick either. But Unreal's got a lot more that can go wrong. You really need someone who can mentor you through that stuff, because some of the tools are just way too powerful for an indie developer. And the engine doesn't tell you that. You got to work it out for yourself. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Hopefully I wasn't too negative. I felt like separating it into 2 videos where I was analyzing it as a YouTuber and analyzing as a game dev, but I just couldn't figure out how to say or do stuff, because I'm technically both now. Oh, they're also using Lumen, which is good. Lumen's great for open world games, because it's a dynamic lighting system that works everywhere, but it's actually quite performance heavy. It's quite expensive. And I think it's the reason why a lot of Unreal 5 games look all the same. But I have a feeling that Endnight's going to try and get around this and try to make their game look unique and not like an Unreal 5 game. And if they figure it out, I'm going to try and get it off them because I don't like the Unreal 5 look. It's like a plasticky look, I think. Got something to do with the reflections. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this turns out. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.